15 or 20. We read many proclamations, 2 to 3 at council sessions. Many times there's nobody here. Many times they're honoring our organizations or honoring the military or other entities in our community. I'm going to say for the last time, there was no intent for power. There was no intent to power grab. There was no intent on my behalf to do anything in this community other than to accept a proclamation that was asking to be accepted as part of this community. This has nothing to do with Prop 8. It has nothing to do with same-sex marriage. That was outside of the scope. This was only and merely a proclamation of acceptance. Somebody said that only God can decide. And I leave it in His hands. I have received so many emails, and I have to tell you this. I've received emails from throughout the United States. I received an email from Switzerland. These were emails from young people who lived in Porterville. Not all, but I would say at least half. Young people who graduated from our schools, who were high performers, who moved out of Porterville and left because they said the world is different outside of Porterville, and that they would not come back to Porterville. I heard from young people who told me that they came out of the closet and that they were being accepted for who they were in a community, for themselves. We heard from a young man today who came up here that took tremendous courage to face a community and tell them who he was and open his heart up. I heard from the Christian community who I know their hearts, all our hearts are in the right places. So I hope from this that we begin to heal. I hope we begin to heal. This proclamation was not intended to hurt. It was not intended as anything other than a mere proclamation, which I have done as mayor in my previous term over and over and over. A proclamation that has had the seal of the city of Porterville on it. Proclamations by the hundreds. So I just want to tell this community there was no intent on my behalf except to accept a group of individuals and say you are welcome here in Porterville. That was it. We will go on to item 21, consideration of the process for hereby city proclamations are approved. Mr. Lawless.
Thank you, Your Honor. This item comes before the City Council this evening as the City Council approved Councilman Shelton's request that the Council consider a process or the process whereby city proclamations are approved. As the staff report indicates that there is not a defined process that establishes by which proclamations are approved. However, there has been a long-standing, as I refer to it as a practice, where the mayor does receive all requests for proclamations and then have been subject to his or her approval. Staff did some preliminary review of what other public agency practices and procedures are. The predominant practice is similar to what the city of Porterville has, and that generally it is the mayor who does receive requests for proclamations and approves them. Some agencies have codified this in writing where there are formal policies that do reflect that. But there are different processes as well. There are agencies that consider proclamations as part of their consent calendar, where they are reviewed by the governing board and by a majority vote would be issued as part of the consent calendar. So, but as stated, the prevalent practice, and I know the city attorney's also done some work on this behalf as well. So, as was as authorized by the council, that this was submitted back to the city council for discussion.
What's my item?
It's open for discussion.
My item. I'm gonna make an analogy here. I had a friend, longtime friend named Tim Beattie. He's a world champion drag racer. Councilman Hampton knows him real well also. We got a discussion one time about racing back in the 60s, about fuel, and he told me there's just two kinds of rules. There's one rule for racing is go as fast as you can. All the rest of the rules are for safety. And every rule for safety is written in the tombstone. What that means is no matter how well it's planned out, no matter how well the rule book is written to cover every contingency, something happens that no one ever thought would happen, and as a result someone gets hurt. That's kind of what happened here. Something that no one ever envisioned happened, and as a result a lot of people got hurt. So now it's time to fix the rule book. I'd be remiss if I didn't correct something the mayor said a minute ago, implying that this was a proclamation like every other proclamation of the hundreds that she's read or signed. It's the only proclamation I know that didn't have at least 3 signatures on it. So in all the hundreds and thousands of proclamations that have been issued by this town, it's the one that didn't have the support of at least the majority of the council. Now, I like to tell a story that we don't even go to lunch without getting consensus from the majority of the council. So I do find it strange that this is the one part that somehow is inferred that it wouldn't require a consensus of the council. My solution to it is so obvious and so democratic that it seems silly to even have to recommend it. But before I make a motion, I'd like to know if anybody else on the council has any opinions.
Anyone else wish to say anything?
Your Honor,
Vice Mayor.
since I've been on council, I've noticed a change in the way proclamations have been put out. When I came on council, proclamations were signed by the mayor. Subsequent to that, it's now we have the council members sign the proclamations. I'm not certain, but when the mayor was on her previous term, as far as I can remember, the proclamations have always been signed solely by the mayor. I believe that, if I'm not mistaken, I think that Mayor Irish was the one that really put in the idea that the council would sign the proclamations. That came about, I think that was when Councilman Shelton and I was re-elected, Councilman Shelton was elected, so. Proclamations, in my experience, have never been voted on by the council. One thing that I would like to remind the council about is there is already a rule in place. If the mayor takes some action that the council disagrees with, all it takes is one council member to move to appeal the decision, a second council member to second the motion, and then a majority vote overrules the mayor. That rule's been in effect for before the 1900s. So we do have a rule if that's what people want. Second thing to remember, for the council to remember, is we have a secondary opportunity, and that is when we select the member of the council that will serve in the chair. It's part of our responsibility when we select that person to pick a person who is going to be able to handle the ceremonial functions of the mayor in a manner that we can live with. So the councilman's asking for my input, or that wants to hear other council members' input. It's worked for over 100 years. I don't see a reason to change it in this case.
Okay, but yeah, I just, it worked for 100 years because no mayor ever before decided to take it upon themselves to do something in complete disregard for the other councilmen. As you said, you were on here. Do you ever remember a proclamation that wasn't supported by at least 3 councilmen that was ever read?
Yes.
Okay, really?
I remember several sitting in the audience when the mayor at the time, or maybe had approved a resolution, or proclamation that the council was opposed to. Sitting as a councilman, I have opposed resolutions.
That's a proclamation, so you know.
Proclamations, I'm sorry, proclamations.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you know other majorities that have opposed proclamations?
The majorities of
The council, yeah.
I can't tell you that because in my
Okay, well,
term, I
I'm answering
don't
for
know.
you, the answer is no.
Well, it's not,
I don't care about the history or any of that. We had a problem. The problem that I had with this right off the get-go was it did become the mayor's proclamation. She was told there was no support from the rest of us, and she chose to do it anyway. Plain and simple, on a Friday, she said, put it on there. And she was absolutely told there was no support from us. Okay? Told her she was brave at the time, but that was her choice. I think it was wrong. I still think it was wrong. I think that we're sitting here tonight trying to correct an action that didn't have any majority. What do you think?
And that's my
We
point.
wouldn't be here if the mayor had listened to the advice given.
And that's my point, it's a democratic system. You know, before I go on, Councilman Moore, you got anything?
Well, I mean, my big thing is that, at least while I've been on here, the mayor is selected from the body of the council and has always respected the members of the council because they speak on behalf of the council. And there have been times when I've been asked to speak to the public, whatever else, and I declined because that's not my role. My role is to let the mayor, or the mayor's unable to let the vice mayor speak on behalf of the council. And I believe that that's the mayor's primary role. I mean, there are very few roles that the mayor has. That is one of them. And so I agree that what bothers me is essentially, by her own words, she was putting forth her own ideology, social engineering, to promote something that she believed in, even though she knows that the other council members, at least at the time, were opposed. I also have a problem that the council handbook states that if you want to put anything on the agenda, it has to be done before noon on Monday. When I wanted to put an item and I missed the deadline by an hour and 15 minutes, I had to go before the council and ask permission to put it on the agenda. Apparently, the mayor doesn't have to do that. The other thing is the proclamation wasn't even written until Tuesday or the day of the council meeting, because I asked for a copy as soon as it came in, because people were like, hey, what's your position? And I said, well, I haven't seen it, so I have no idea, one way or the other. So I have a problem with that as well, is that she's agreeing to put things that she clearly knew were going to be controversial, clearly knew most likely wouldn't have the support. And she decided to go through it, put it on when I don't think the council handbook gives her the power to do so, which again would be an abuse of power, because she's a council member just as well as everyone else, except in acting the special requirements of the mayor. And so I have a big problem with that, because it's unprecedented. To me, it's something that's never been done before, at least while I've been on here. And so, and I think that's why I feel so strongly about it, is that if the council, can't, everything that happens in the city can be done by the council, whatever. And for proclamations to be the one exception, when in reality she's proclaiming on behalf of the city, which have 5 duly appointed leaders. The mayor being one who's selected from the body of the council by the majority of the council. That just sticks in my craw. So.
I want to make sure that I correct you. When I received the proclamation by email, I read it. I didn't just say yes to a proclamation without seeing it. And so, just a moment. So I looked at it. I sent it back, looked at what I usually do, and said, okay, is there anything foul in there, anything, no. Has it been recognized as a national state proclamation? Yes. Is it an organization? Is it any of those things that I generally look at? And it's merely acceptance. It was nothing other than that. I was astounded when I walked in on Tuesday at the number of people. Call me whatever you want, but I thought we were ready in the city of Porterville to accept. So when that proclamation went through, I believe you requested an item to be placed, and because that item was placed on the consent calendar, then the proclamation went through. There's been other proclamations that have not been on the agenda. And so you can point fingers at me, but don't point those things that are not correct.
Actually, what I said was correct. I didn't get to see the proclamation. I asked the city manager to see the proclamation as soon as he received a copy of it. He didn't receive it till Tuesday. So, and it was in violation of the council handbook. You're not allowed to add anything to the council agenda after noon on Monday. So I didn't add anything to the council agenda afterwards. Council handbook says that I can't. So again, don't point fingers if you think things aren't correct.
I'm not gonna anymore.
I don't want to do that either.
Let's talk about the process.
Well,
What is it that you want in this
I want to
process?
fix it, Virginia,
Well,
so
let's
someone
talk
else
about-
doesn't abuse it.
I'm not abusing it, and I resent that. I did not abuse this power. I
Virginia,
have full respect for this community.
apparently not from my opinion.
Did you prepare two proclamations, one with the council signatures and one without? Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes, you did. And why did you do that?
Because you knew we weren't going to
because I
sign.
wasn't sure at the time that that proclamation went through, and then I said.
And as the
no.
president of the council, who represents the body of the council, you should have done a pause and said, you know what?
Okay, I didn't do the pause, I did the proclamation, I stand by it. Go on with the process that you want to discuss, and how do you want to fix this? Since I am the only person in the city council that's ever done anything for individuals in this community. So go ahead, what is the process that you want to put forth?
You're the only person.
I'm going to have the clapping and everything else.
You're the only person. I guess the rest of them are doing nothing.
No, I said the only person
Your
that's
Honor.
made a mistake, I
You didn't
guess,
say that.
whatever.
Your Honor, point of order, our discussion is a process for approval of proclamations. Can we get back to it? Stay away from the personal accusations
Thank you.
and back and forth. That is not what we're here for in the council. We are here to consider the process whereby city proclamations are approved. We either find a process or we go on the way we are.
Thank you,
Thank
Pete.
you,
Thank
Vice Mayor,
you.
for
Thank
bringing
you.
us back to
Thank you,
focus
Pete. The
again.
problem is I have to
And I
make a case
apologize.
for why it needs to be changed. And the
No,
case
you
is
don't. You
because
need
it's
to
been
make-
The
abused.
case has already been made.
Okay, thank you.
So
I'm
let's
glad you
go
surrendered that
forward.
point. It's been
I'm not
abused.
surrendering, let's just go forward.
All right, the
with
forward
it.
is pretty
Stay
easy.
focused on
Anybody
it.
else got any input before I make a motion?
Keep on hearing everybody.
Do you have a motion?
You should,
You have a motion?
Oh, wait.
Excuse me.
No, wait a minute. I'm the chair still, I'm the mayor, so, I'm sorry.
Have you got a motion?
No, I don't have a motion, but stop cutting me off. So Lee, what is it that you're going to motion?
It's an easy statement and pretty self-evident. All proclamations shall require the support of a bare majority of the city council.
I have a motion, can you please repeat that? So we can-
All proclamations shall require a bare majority of the city council.
Your Honor,
The support.
Your Honor, just a clarification.
Well, and you can do
For the
any.
entire body or for a quorum as president of a meeting or however?
No, I don't want to do that. I want to do three. If you can't get three, then you shouldn't. If you only three show up, you got to have
You would
two.
say 3 affirmative votes.
Yes, the bare majority of it, not just what's present. And also, and that can be done, since it's not official action, it can be done by an item on the consent calendar. It can be done by polling if that would be allowed. All we're going to do is just slow up the process.
If you're going to have a council decision, even if it's not,
Right.
Has to be
Brown
done.
Act basically says 80.
Okay, so it's gonna, all the net result of this now is it's gonna, is
Bring it a week.
Yeah, you're gonna have to bring it like a month before to get it on there. But we gotta do that now because someone decided to take it upon themselves to do it their own way.
Your Honor, just for clarification and possibly slight change in your wording of your motion, you indicated you wanted at least a 3 vote to approve the proclamation. Do you want any consideration of when this is brought? Is this put on the consent calendar? Is it how much in advance? I mean, I think if we're going to adopt a process, let's be
It has to be
specific.
on at least meeting prior to the proclamation.
This is the problem, is that if it's an emergency proclamation, it's gonna be tough now without getting it on there. I mean,
It's going to be very,
it's the price we gotta pay.
it's going to be very hard.
Minutia in the policy.
It's just gonna take a lot longer to get proclamations now, but that's what we gotta do, that's what we gotta do.
Call for the vote.
Sir, do I have a second?
Yeah, second. Any more?
Is there,
No?
vote please. Motion carries 2-0. Next item. Item 22, consider rescinding the city proclamation of the LGBT
Before we
Pride
have-
Month for June 2013. Did you have something you wanted to ask?
Well, I was gonna do
I'd like to make a motion that we consider items 22 and 23 together.
second.
Have a motion to consider 22 and 23 together.
Your Honor, that's reconsideration of motion passed by the council at the prior meeting, which separated the 2 items. Council cannot do it without a motion to reconsider.
Is that true? All right.
Ask for a motion to reconsider.
Have a motion to reconsider the previous,
The bifurcation.
that's right, yes.
Yeah.
Your Honor, request that the minutes be read on this, Councilman Hamilton's vote on the previous motion.
I voted bifurcated. So what? I'm asking for reconsideration. Do you have a problem with that?
Second.
Vote, I would
Do you have a
like,
problem with my reconsideration?
I want to know how you voted on the
I already
bifurcation.
told you how I voted for it. I voted for it. I changed my mind. All for the vote.
Please vote.
You gonna vote?
Did the city attorney's
Yes, Councilmember Hamilton voted for it.
Everybody vote. To combine the 2.
No, it's reconsideration.
I'm sorry, that's a
Now we have to go
Consider my
No.
first motion
Have a motion for,
of merger to
have a motion to merge the 2, item 22 and 23. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Councilmember Shelton. Please vote. Motion carries. We are taking item 22 and 23 together. Mr. Wallace.
Thank you, Your Honor. The City Council approved hearing this evening, requested Councilman Wards that there be consideration by the City Council rescinding the city proclamation of LGBT Pride Month for June 13, and as well as to provide, adopt a resolution of support, or consider a resolution of support for June 13 as a month of community charity in Porterville and Porterville. I didn't play before the council and take any direction as good.
I have a question in regards to a resolution. A resolution is generally when it is being sent to a legislative body to support or not support an item.
A resolution can have various purposes, and its legal import depends purely on what is the substance of the resolution itself. So in this in this case, I mean, there's nothing that says a resolution has to be sent to an outside or third party, so it can be what it is here. I don't see a legal problem with the form of the resolution. But I will note, it is also simply expression. It's not actually any official city action affecting any services or programs the city provides.
I wanted to read something that I got off our website. A resolution is usually used to express the policy of the council or to direct certain types of procedural or administrative action. So is this going to be an administrative action that stays?
Well, it does go on unless it's rescinded, but it purported, I think, just for this specific month, wasn't that? I don't believe it
I don't know.
did anything prospectively other than
I don't mind
declared.
it permanently going on goodwill at all. Seems like something good to me.
Well, my point is, though, it was effective for June 2013, I believe. I'll go back and look at it real quick.
Yes, it does say June.
Yeah, it does, so,
Vice Mayor.
Adopted for July or whatever it was.
Vice Mayor.
Normally you're wrong.
Vice Mayor.
Just a question for the city attorney. When in the whereas clauses in the resolution, are those effectively findings of the council?
whereas or just merely, well, they're findings, to the extent that that's what you're finding, but again, it's only going to stand for what it actually states. And, I
I
mean,
understand it, but my question is that can the council adopt a resolution where a whereas clause is not factually accurate?
yes.
Thank you.
Are there any other discussions on this? I just want to state that this resolution, or if it were a proclamation, at any other time would have been fine. I'm not supporting this proclamation, or resolution, not because I don't believe in the city of Porterville that we're carrying people. I just can't support it today, not after everything we've been through the last month and a half.
You know how we feel.
So,
Yeah, good point.
Your Honor,
not everybody in Porterville is caring, not everybody.
I don't know about my friends, but I don't care about them.
Let's continue.
Well, that's what it says here. Porterville is a community of caring,
So who's that isn't here?
and spiritual.
and spiritual.
Wow.
Well, I guess there's two of them.
Your Honor,
Vice Mayor.
I haven't heard a motion yet, but I'd like to state I voted no on the motion to combine the two. There's very, very strong reason there. I'm going to end up having to vote no on this combined motion.
You can't vote at all now, you just flagged your vote.
Well, I'm not allowed to separate the two.
You can't vote now at all.
So if that's the case, fine. I will leave the room if you say that
He
it's...
says you can, but you flagged your vote.
Pete, we know why you're going to vote no, Pete. We know why you're going to vote no.
Do we have a motion?
Yeah, can you make the motion? I'll make the motion. I'll make a motion that we replace the proclamation. I'm going to say replace, you can amend it if you like to, replace it with Brian's proclamation,
That's not a proclamation.
or excuse me, resolution. A second?
So,
I like the word rescind. I make a motion that we rescind the previous proclamation and replace it with the resolution before us.
so the motion that Councilmember Shelton
Died.
died because of the lack of a second. And I have another motion.
I don't know if it died, but it's enough time to find out. Did it die, Councilman?
Do I have a motion? Can you repeat it?
Motion to rescind the previous proclamation and replace with the resolution before us.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
And a second by Councilmember Ward.
Wow. A little discussion.
Please vote.
Wait, a little discussion? please. What I want to discuss, is there any room here for you, Virginia? Is there any room, are you interested at all in kind of compromise to try to, as you say, bring people together?
You want me to rescind the?
I want to, I know, what I want to do is to maybe blend the two, where we can come up with something that everybody can take away from it, what they felt like, you know, what they were trying to say, without trying to stomp on one half for the other half.
So how do you?
Well, did we take your proclamation and maybe take Brian's words and insert them?
Your Honor, there's a motion on the floor.
Right now.
Discussion going on.
It's discussion.
I mean, you're asking us to do that right now.
Well, I'm asking if it's even something you would consider in the spirit of compromise. You know, do we want to draw two lines in the sand here, or do we want to bring people together? I don't think, you know, I'm just asking the possibility. If your answer is no, then we'll just do the vote. And all the branch. I think, I don't know how the other councilmen feel, but I think that that it might be something that they might be exploring.
And you're willing to put the LGBT community in it? No, I heard this.
How about just everybody in there? Everybody just, they can take from it what they think they want to say.
I guess my question is, why does the LGBT community special treatment? I mean, there are so many other people.
I'm so sorry. Please.
I mean, why isn't it charity to everyone? I mean,
Because Mom, when you hate us.
Please stop, or I'm going to have to ask the people to be taken out. I want to do that, but I'm going to ask the people to be taken out if we can have respect in the chambers. Thank you. Councilmember Ward.
So my question is why does it have to apply to a specific group? Why wouldn't it apply to everyone? I mean, why would we say, let's just,
Do you mind? Do you
I'm sorry,
mind?
I'm going to have to ask to be removed if you don't one more time. That's it. Go ahead. Apologize.
For the third time.
so the reality is that there are a lot of kids who are bullied for a lot of different reasons. I don't know why we would be singling out a specific group that already has legal protection within the law. I guess that's my question. I mean, why doesn't an all-inclusive resolution or proclamation, why would that somehow be implied that the LGBT community wouldn't be part of that? I mean, everyone or all includes everyone and all. The reality is that I don't think anybody should be bullied for any reason. I don't care how different they are. I don't care what the reason is. Everyone deserves love and respect, which is why I wrote the resolution the way that I did, because I do believe we have a caring and spiritual community. I do believe that people's hearts are in the right place, the way you put it. And the rallies, I believe that everyone, regardless of our differences, charity should extend to everyone. So I guess I'm confused as to why one particular group gets special treatment over any other group. My son is overweight. He gets bullied a lot. But I don't sit here and specify, obese people proclamations. I got bullied because of my religious beliefs, but I don't come here and ask for specific proclamations for myself. I've been called every name in the book by the LGBTQ community because of my religious beliefs. And, but I don't ask for proclamations to protect my group or my, domain or whatever else. Me, as a council member, I should be promoting everyone, charity for everyone in my community, regardless of our differences. I don't know why I would be specifying or specifically pointing to one group over another. I guess that's my biggest problem, is that there are so many different differences in people's lifestyle. I mean, people would say that I have a different lifestyle than other people. But I don't try to promote my lifestyle over anybody else's. I don't try to do any of those things. So it's so I guess that's where I'm confused. I haven't seen any I went through the last year looking at proclamations. We don't do proclamations based upon gender. We don't do proclamations based upon race. We don't do
Cinco de Mayo.
Please.
Goodbye, Jessica.
Please.
Take Jessica
Take
out.
her out of here.
Have her leave.
Wait a minute. Sorry, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Thank you. not taking any comments, nothing. We're gonna finish this.
It's actually a cultural celebration of the race, but anyway, so the point is, if we don't do religious proclamation, I mean, the reality is all the protected statuses in the, that I'm aware of, we've never done proclamations for those protected groups. After 9/11 happened, no one cared whether you were Democrat or Republican or what your difference was, we were all Americans. And I think the proclamation should reflect things that are geared to bring everyone together, like you said, and uniting us. I think when we specifically target specific differences, I think it aims to divide and favor and promote one group over another, and I think that's wrong.
Okay. And I don't want to belabor it.
Vice Mayor.
At this point,
The council member was referring to a proclamation. He's proposing a resolution. That's a little different than a proclamation. He keeps commenting that it's all-inclusive. Unfortunately, when I read the draft resolution, there are statements in there that are very noble and wonderful and make everybody feel good, but they are, in my mind, Porterville as a whole is not a community promoting charity. I know too many people who don't.
Geez, Pete, you attacking our community now, too?
I am not attacking the community, I am attacking the statement. That statement can be modified to be all-inclusive, but it now excludes anyone who is not caring and spiritual, who is not promote charity and goodwill, who doesn't fundamentally believe in charity toward our fellow man. I would really hope that everyone in Porterville hates crime, bullying, and suicide. However, we have a gang problem. We've got, if you read the paper or the Facebook and read the police report, we have every day, we've got people abusing drugs. We've got people breaking into houses. We've got cars being stolen. The resolution in itself is flawed.
Fix it, Pete. Are you saying you support it if you fix it? Then fix it. Let's do it.
Councilman Ward knows my feelings. Councilman Ward can fix it if he wishes.
You want to
I
delay
have
it?
I have a motion and a second.
Okay, well, you didn't answer my question.
No, we're not gonna.
So you're not interested in any?
Yes, I am, don't,
Well, I'm asking you. Because I'm not gonna, if you think there's room to fix
I
it,
just, it's not gonna be fixed. It can be fixed.
it can
let's-
be fixed.
Not now. Not with this resolution.
Well, but you,
I'm not even bringing the two together.
Okay,
And
so what
don't
you're
say
saying-
that I'm not interested, don't say that I want to draw the line. That is not my intent. You can say it as much as you want. I know who I am, and I feel good, and I can stand in front of God right now.
I'm not
Take
saying
the
that.
vote. Take the vote.
I'm trying to get you to, if you don't want to do it, guard my
Just
time.
take the vote. Please vote. Motion carries.
Shame on you!
that's what you supported. That's what you committed. Way to go. Way to go.
I do believe that was. Don't disrespect the mayor. You're no better. Hey. That goes for you, Mr. Camp.
Stop.
Don't disrespect the mayor.
Stop. Stop. I'm not going to stand here and take that. Stop. Stop, Camp. No. You're stopping us. Don't do that. There will be never anything in Porterville that's different. It's not.
And smell whip hits.